The Dr. Ray Podcast is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio. Here's today's monologue with Dr. Ray Guarendi.
Are you difficult? There are probably those who think you are. And if you think nobody thinks you're difficult, I suppose you could be right. But I wouldn't bet on it. That said, we use the word difficult to describe people that, for a wide range of reasons, are hard to relate to. They're unpleasant in some way. They're snarky, opinionated, know-it-alls, braggers, edgy, whole bunch of things. Difficult is a description that's an umbrella. Covers a whole bunch of stuff. It's probably the most common word used during the holidays when relatives or friends are coming from out of town that you don't see much, and you're thinking they're difficult and I'm going to have a difficult time with them. So I want to give you some ways to lessen the difficulty. First, recognize that they might think you're difficult. Unfairly so, as we see it, but that's their perception. Obviously, if they're going to be difficult with you, they're not likely to say, I'm really a very, very difficult person, and she's really, really a nice person, but I just do this. No, they're going to view you as somehow, some way hard to relate to, too, more than likely. Because one of the characteristics of a difficult person is that they don't realize they're difficult. If they did realize they're difficult, they wouldn't be as difficult. And they're more likely to look at other people as difficult. So, recognize that you could be fairly or unfairly seen by the difficult person as difficult. Got it. 2, difficult is a very broad trait word. By that, I mean it covers a personality characteristic that by implication the person is that way with everybody. That's probably not true. There are probably people within their social circumstances that don't think they're difficult. You think they're difficult. Let's say, for example, they don't like your religion. So they're edgy and nasty and opinionated about your religion. But it just so happens that the people they hang around with think like they do. So they don't think that that person is difficult. They kind of relate to them. Keep in mind, it's probably more accurate to say they are difficult for me. When we say somebody's difficult or obnoxious or opinionated or unpleasant, that's our experience with them. Keeping in mind that many people might not think that at all. Many people might like them and admire them. So that's another thing to remember. 3, if they say something that just is threatening to go up your spine, do you have to respond? Can you just look at him like, I don't understand what you just said? I don't get it. Give him just a dumb look. I mean, some of us are better at giving dumb looks than others. A guy like me, I naturally look dumb, so they can't tell if I'm giving them a dumb look or just that's my countenance. But a dumb look really speaks volumes. It just says I don't think I understand what you just said. Now, you may full well understand what they just said, but you're not responding. Why? They're only going to be around you for a couple hours on Christmas Eve. You can write out anything they say. Isn't that the truth? All right. Now, also, recognize that if someone is difficult for you, and the time you have to be around them is set. In other words, it's not unending. It's a 3-hour get-together on Christmas afternoon. 3 hours. You can pretty much tolerate anybody for 3 hours, can't you? Don't provoke them. Don't throw in a few jabs. And recognize this. You're stuck, as I am stuck. Because if we proclaim that we're Christians, then we have to operate out of that set of principles. Which means we can't go at them the same way they might go at us. We can't fire back a shot after they just fired a shot at us. Verbally speaking, that is. Come on. They may or may not be Christians. Well, they proclaim that they are. Well, if they don't live that particular aspect of Christianity around you, that doesn't mean you cannot live that particular aspect of Christianity around them. Don't play by the same rules. They're going to be, quote-unquote, difficult. Don't be difficult back. You operate out of a completely different set of principles given to you by the Savior who was born on the day that you are celebrating, and them at your house, or you're at their house, and you have to just swallow a lot of their words. And you're getting a belly full. But you're not going to add fuel to it. Difficult is a trait word. Could mean a lot of things. You ask 100 people what it means, and they'll all give you different definitions. The key is, how are they difficult around you? What is it that makes them difficult around you? You don't want it to be you. You want to make sure that if they're going to be difficult for that 4 hours that you're around them, it's because that's how they're acting and not because you're pushing back on them. Or worse, provoking them. If you do all this stuff, they probably won't behave quite as difficultly as you were primed to expect from past experience.
More of Dr. Ray's monologues can be found on his website, drray.com. Monologues as well as full-length programs that the doctor is in can be heard at AveMariaRadio.net and EWTN.com/radio.